Well, good afternoon, everyone. This is your host, Louis George Walker, coming to you from the KUAW radio studios, and like to welcome you to the BFTAA and More show. Yes, BFTAA stands for the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, and we are so glad to be able to join with you on this holiday week. Yes, Thanksgiving's coming up in a couple of days, so if I play this recording later, it's going to say Thanksgiving, and it may be in July or something. We don't know, but it is live right now, so I want you to know that we have a holiday coming up, and we're getting ready. I got a turkey thawing out at home and start seasoning it tomorrow. And Wednesday, we'll put it on the smoker, get it going. So it's all starting to come together for a big weekend, or not a big weekend, for a big Thursday and a long weekend, because really from Thursday through Sunday, everybody's going to be eating turkey, visiting with family, having a great time. And we hope that you and yours are having a great time. Hey, we'd like to let you know that the BFTAA and More show is brought to you by the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center in Kansas City and the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, who came together to give you this radio station knowledge, understanding, and a wisdom. That's that. We call it KUAW. So KUAW Radio, you can listen to us live on Facebook and on YouTube, on Twitter and Twitch. We post these videos everywhere we possibly can, and you can listen to us live on some of these stations. So like and share this video if you want to tell your friends about it and what's going on with technology and in the community of Kansas City and around the world. So we're just glad that you're here with us today. Now, you can listen to us also 24 hours a day. KUAW Radio is an internet radio station, and you can pick us up if you have Get Me Radio, the TuneIn Radio app, online radio box, My Tuner, and you see, what else do we have it on? We have it on our website, KUAW.org, and on Radio Garden, you can pick us up. If you got a smart speaker like a Google or Amazon speaker, tell it to play KUAW and you'll hear us there. Also on your Roku, your Apple, your Fire Stick, all of those type of devices, just search KUAW Radio and we'll show up in some of every place. So we're glad that you're here with us today, and we hope that you will continue to listen to KUAW Radio, and in particular to the BFTAA and More show. Although we have other shows. On Thursdays, we have a sports show that is one of the best in the Kansas City area, and dare I say in the United States. So any given Sunday is on. Also on Saturday, we have Wave Your Grades with Mr. Carl Boyd, a world-renowned educator here in Kansas City. So you check that out. We also have Wake Up KC with Pastor Ellery Canty and Dr. Cheryl Canty on Saturday mornings from 9 o'clock till 10. So there's a lot of programming you can pick up on. We also have a new program that a buddy of mine, Carlos, has given us. So we posted that up, and we'll be posting some more of those on our audio-only side. So be sure and check us out and listen to some of the shows that we have going on here, because we try and do this radio with a purpose and trying to educate, trying to enlighten you to what's going on with technology, especially so that we can close that digital divide that exists in the African American and other underserved communities. We need to have our kids involved in STEM. STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. There's also STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, the arts, and mathematics. Any of those fields or any of those acronyms, when you see them out, are about getting people to go into those fields or that line of study or the educational pathways and careers that lead to what do I want to say, research and development, inventing, being creative, and being on the cutting edge of this technology-driven society that we live in right now, and where we need to have as much brain power as possible. So all of our youth need to be involved in working with these things in one way or another. They should be getting involved with STEM if they're so inclined. I mean, even if you want to be a mechanic or if you're a carpenter and stuff, there's more technology that is available now and being used than was a long time ago. You know, farmers, everybody is using STEM. They're flying drones. They're doing measurements. There's a lot of things that are happening through the use of computers, AI, artificial intelligence, all of this stuff, all the tons and tons of data that's being collected and analyzed. And yes, sometimes it gets scary and we don't want to give away too much data and stuff, but at the same time, we are collecting a lot of information about this planet, about the cosmos and stuff that we can use or that we can analyze in a lot better ways through technology. So we don't want to kick technology out as being bad. We want to make sure that we try and use it right and that there are guardrails put up where it can't go so that we can be safely using the technology that is available out there. So that's what we're about here, and we're also about letting you know what's going on in research and development. And the one that we show a lot of now, mainly because it's our government and we can, is from NASA. NASA has a space station at the International Space Station, not just NASA's, it's really the whole world's space station that is flying high above the Earth right now. And they have a show that they put on every week that's called Space to Ground. So we're going to give you right now an episode of this week's Space to Ground. Let me see if I can find that for you, and we'll start that up. Okay, there we go. We have to get into the right screen in order to be able to do that. Okay, Space to Ground. Here we go. Check it out.
Welcome to Space to Ground. I'm Jane Jennings. It's hard to imagine a time without some form of wearable technology. From the creation of pocket watches and hearing aids to fitness trackers and Bluetooth headsets, it's part of our everyday lives. Today, wearable technology is also being used to research the health of astronauts aboard the International Space Station. Spaceflight affects body temperature regulation and daily rhythms due to the absence of convection and changes in cardiovascular and metabolic systems. The European Space Agency's T-Mini is a non-invasive headband monitor that measures core body temperature to examine how the body thermoregulates during spaceflight. Spaceflight can also disrupt sleep-wake patterns. The ActiWatch Spectrum, a wrist-worn device, measures motion and ambient light to monitor sleep quality and duration. Earlier missions showed astronauts slept less during spaceflight. The ActiWatch Sleep-Long study linked sleep deficiencies to changes in circadian rhythms caused by ambient light. Follow-up studies are testing lighting systems to help astronauts maintain healthy sleep cycles.
Soyuz running up to full power, and we have liftoff. Liftoff.
The unpiloted Progress 90 spacecraft launched from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan at 7:22 a.m. Eastern Time on Thursday, carrying nearly 3 tons of food, fuel, and supplies to the Expedition 72 crew aboard the space station. After a 2-day in-orbit journey to the station, the spacecraft is expected to dock autonomously to the space-facing port of the orbiting laboratory's Poisk module at 9:35 a.m. Saturday, November 23rd. The Progress 90 spacecraft will remain docked at the station for approximately 6 months before departing for a re-entry into Earth's atmosphere to dispose of trash loaded by the crew. Who said space science and art can't coexist? NASA astronaut Don Pettit gives us a glimpse into an awe-inspiring sight. Conducting what is called the science of opportunity, NASA astronaut Don Pettit recently viewed thin wafers of ice under polarized filters on the International Space Station to better understand the behaviors of freezing water under microgravity conditions without gravitational buoyancy. These ice wafers were photographed between a polarized filter and a laptop display used to eliminate and cross-polarize the thin ice, giving a colorful art-like image highlighting the fragmented crystals. You can keep up with the current crew on station as well as the science by following us on social media at @astro_pettit, at NASA_astronauts, at space_station, and at ISS_research. And that's Space to Ground for now. Thank you so much for watching.
All right, that was Space to Ground from NASA, and we hope that you enjoyed checking that out and stuff. Yeah, we're getting a lot of information that they're gathering in space right now, and a lot of it's being gathered so that we can prepare for longer duration stays in space, because without gravity, the body, everything acts a little bit different, and how it's affecting the people that are up there for a year right now is one thing, but if you talk about going to Mars, you're talking a super long time, many years that they would be in space, and how would that affect the human body, or how can we counteract the effects on it so that it's more similar to what they're used to here on Earth. So those are things that have to be figured out and worked on, and that's one of the things that they're doing at the space station right now. So it's always good to pick that up. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about the buying time, because big shopping days are coming up with Black Friday and all that Christmas rush. And some of you may be looking at buying some new technology. So give you a little information and help you to try and check some of that out so that you can maybe make some wiser purchasing decisions. And I'm going to do that the next couple of weeks as we go through just talking about buying and upgrading our technology and what you want to have. If you're going into wearables, and if you're doing a laptop or a tablet or some of the other things, if you're going to make a smart home, what all are you getting ready to add into your house that has technology to it? And how can you use it and save money while you're doing that? So that's some of the things that we'll be talking about going forward today and over the next few weeks as Christmas is upon us and we're making that move. So we want to give you the information that we can. Now, before we do that, we want to catch up on a little bit of news that's going on. So right now, we're going to go to let's see, what news do I have? Yeah, I may have some news. I may not have some news for you. Thought I had some news here. Let's see, it's not that. This may be it. Let's see what we've got here. Yeah, here we go. Okay, we got some UNN network news that we're going to bring to you right now. So let's check out what's going on with the UNN news.
This is UNN Urban Network News headlines. I'm Alexander Caden. In Diddy or Diddy Not news, as Diddy tries again to get a bond, several more people have come forward accusing him of sexual abuse. Last Tuesday, 3 men and 2 women filed separate complaints. Diddy now faces nearly 12 dozen lawsuits. The feds are still locking up people involved with fraudulent PPP money. They arrested a 24-year-old black man from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, who spent 2 years swindling unemployment and COVID relief funds, and he now faces up to 30 years in prison for bank fraud. A black woman who alleged an AI algorithm discriminated against her has won a $2 million lawsuit against Safe Rent's use of an algorithm to assess rental applicants. The suit alleges that the algorithm failed to account for the benefits of housing vouchers, a crucial factor in determining a renter's ability to pay. Prosecutors in Virginia say a black woman ordered her husband to carry out an attack against a pizza employee, all because he got her order wrong. Both are now locked up in Norfolk, Virginia City Jail with no bond. The Illinois Supreme Court has overturned former Empire actor Jussie Smollett's conviction for orchestrating a hate crime hoax and ordering the case against him be dismissed. You've been listening to UNN Urban Network News. Visit our website at myuin.net. That's myuin.net.
All right. So that's what we've got going on in the news. A lot of interesting things happening with P. Diddy and a few others. But you heard that one bit in there about the AI that was discriminating by not counting in housing vouchers and stuff. That is one of the things that I was talking about. With AI, we've got to make sure we have the correct guardrails up in order to be able to be fair with it, to make sure that it doesn't make mistakes. Because even though there is a computer, there are people that program it. The algorithms are created by people. and they sometimes have inadvertently, unknown to them, even biases or things that they just leave out or all of that. So there still can be mistakes, even though a computer is doing it, because even with AI, it's constantly learning. If you've played around with it any now, you'll know that it doesn't know everything. It doesn't know a lot of speech and things like that. So it's learning and it's getting smarter, but it's always still just an algorithm. It's just a machine that may mimic the human thought, mimic human voice, mimic human words, but it is not human. And it is still capable of making the mistakes that humans make and making the mistakes that machines make. So, we don't want to put any of the technology on a pedestal that it is all infallible, that everything's going to be right all the time. No, it's just like us. It may make fewer mistakes. It may make more. It may make some whoppers, but that doesn't mean that technology is bad. It means that we always have to look at safeguards. We also always have to look at ways to make sure that it works in the way that we would like for it to work. So that's the job of the people that get involved in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. And you may even say STEAM because the arts are important as you start having computers that interact more and more with people. It's not machine to machine, it's machine to person interactions that require a little nuances. Machine to machine can be, just a lot of O's and ones and getting things done. But machines to humans and humans to machine requires a little more finesse, a little more, nuances in inflections of voice and tones, the way words can mean different things with just a little change in the tone of voice. So these are things that we have to look for and make sure that we still understand what's going on with our technology. But we don't want to say that the technology is bad, because I would not put that. Technology is what it is. It is a tool. It's the people that use it that can make it either good or bad, but the technology in and of itself is just a tool right now. But yeah, we've had a lot of things going on here. We hope that you're learning, that you're picking some things up. We want to take a second now to go look at the night sky and see what's up this month in November in the sky. This is from the Jet Propulsion Laboratories of NASA. So let's check this out right now with NASA What's Up.
What's up for November? When to look for Saturn, Jupiter, and Mars this month? A NASA spacecraft swings by Venus on its way to the Sun. The tricky business of seeing the moon hide a bright star. And stick around till the end for photos of highlights from last month's skies. Saturn is visible toward the south for most of the night. For observers in the Americas, it has a close meetup with the moon on the 10th, when the pair will appear less than a degree apart just after dark, making for a great sight through binoculars. Check the sky again around midnight and you'll see the moon has visibly shifted a couple of degrees west of Saturn, showing evidence of the moon's orbital motion in just a few hours. Jupiter is rising in the east early in the night together with the bright stars of the constellations Taurus and Orion, and working its way across the sky by dawn. By the end of November, it's rising just as the sky is getting dark. Mars follows behind Jupiter, rising about 3 hours after the giant planet. As in October, early risers will find the red planet high overhead in the morning sky before dawn. In the evening sky, Venus is low in the southwest following sunset throughout the month of November. It's blazing bright and unmistakable if you find a relatively unobstructed view. It appears much higher in the sky for those in the southern hemisphere who will also be able to easily observe Mercury after sunset this month. And on the 4th, a slim crescent moon will appear just below Venus for a beautiful pairing as the glow of sunset fades. Now, staying with Venus, one of NASA's intrepid solar system explorers is headed for a close encounter with this Earth-sized hothouse of a planet on November 6th. Parker's solar probe studies our planet's nearest star, the Sun. Its mission is to trace the flow of energy that heats the sun's outer atmosphere and accelerates the million-mile-per-hour stream of particles it emits. It makes its measurements from super close to the sun, within the region where all the action happens. To do this, the spacecraft was designed to fly within just 4 million miles of the sun's surface, which is 10 times closer than the orbit of the closest planet, Mercury. No other spacecraft has ever gotten this close to the sun before. In the 6 years since its launch, the spacecraft has made a bunch of approaches to the sun, using flybys of the planet Venus to shape its orbit. The November 6th flyby is the final such maneuver, intended to send the spacecraft toward its 3 closest ever solar approaches, starting on December 24th. During this last Venus flyby, the mission will capture images of the planet. Previous views returned by Parker showed that the spacecraft could actually see features on the Venusian surface through its dense cloud cover. So look out for Venus in the evening sky as the brilliant planet helps a craft from Earth to touch the face of the sun. In the couple of hours before sunrise on November 27th, skywatchers in the eastern half of the US and Canada will have the chance to witness an occultation, an event where the moon passes in front of and temporarily hides a bright star, in this case, Spica. Observers in other parts of the world will see the moon pass extremely close to Spica, but won't see it cover up the star. This occultation is one of a series that began in June and will continue monthly through late next year. These happen as the moon's orbit slowly shifts northward and southward across the sky, and every so often its path crosses in front of Spica monthly for a time. But each occultation is only visible from a small portion of Earth. For example, while this November event favors North American viewers, South American observers will get their chance next April. For US skywatchers, this November occultation is the last good opportunity in this series to see the moon occult Spica until 2032, when a new series of monthly occultations will begin for locations across the globe. Now, if you miss this event, don't worry. The moon also passes in front of 3 other bright stars from time to time. This means that no matter where you're located, you'll have the opportunity before too long to witness the impressive sight of a bright star briefly disappearing behind the moon. Here are views of what some of the highlights we told you about in last month's video actually looked like. And here are the phases of the moon for November. Stay up to date on all of NASA's missions exploring the solar system and beyond at science.nasa.gov. I'm Preston Dykes from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and that's what's up for this month.
All right. That is NASA What's Up, and hopefully you got something really good out of that. We broadcast that every week so that you can check out what's going on at NASA. So yeah, we're putting out information, trying to help you learn and grow. I also want to take a second to show you. Let's see this. Nope, it won't let me do it. It's wanting me to sign in. So we won't go to that right now, but I've got a photo that I wanted to show you that one of our supporters and my dear brother, supporter of the Black Family Technology Awareness Association and KUAW and what we're doing here, passed away last week on the 19th, and I'm going to miss him a lot. His name was Robert Garner. We had different fathers, but we were raised together by the same mom. And, I'm going to miss my brother. He was 82 years old, and we had a lot of good memories, a lot of fun, and just a lot of a person that you could talk to about anything that was going on in life. So want to give a moment of silence for my brother, Robert Garner. Thank you all so very, very much. But yeah, as we keep going, as we keep rolling along with this, there's things that are going on, things that we do. And as these holidays are here, we're looking at making purchases. And some of us may be thinking about making purchase of computers, and want to talk to you just a little bit about that. The computer world changes constantly. There's always getting faster, smarter, sometimes cheaper, sometimes more expensive computers out there on the market. So if you're in the market for technology, and not just the computers that we used to know of as a desktop, a laptop, a smartphone, a tablet, but even the wearables like the smart watches that you have now, and having a smart home that would be controlled by computers and have computer chips built in, and even automobiles. The computer is everywhere in our lives now with a lot of different equipment. So you may be going to look at some stuff, cameras and things, as this buying season, this holiday season comes in. Even though it's about Thanksgiving and the birth of Jesus at Christmas time, there's a whole lot of shopping that goes on in this winter time also. I think it stems back to the fact of the agricultural roots that we have, and it wasn't a lot to do in the winter months. And not only were there celebrations, but now it's shopping and things like that, festivities. Those were things that, especially in the times of farming and even before, where this is when you had time to come together. You weren't working the fields from sun to sun. The sun goes down a lot earlier, so you had a lot of nighttime to get together around campfires, around candles, around lights and lamps, and talk and share with one another. So we're still doing that. That's part of our nature, that we have as humans. But getting back to the computers. Now, I'm doing a class right now on basic computers for seniors, 55 and up, and they've been learning computers and working on computers. And I wanted to just carry that farther to each individual as we look at it. When it comes to buying a computer, it can be nerve-wracking. We know that you have to go out, and a lot of us are like, I don't know what I want or how much do I need. I don't understand all these numbers and things like that. And I'd like for you to know that if you're watching me right now, you're on a computer probably, or you're using some technology, and that's a starting point. Also, if you're just listening to me audible only, if you're listening on the radio, you're picking this up because it is going over the internet, and somehow you're getting it. So you can use this and you can continue to learn. Now, I have some information, and a lot of this came from, or one of the sources I used was Consumer Reports, and there was an article by Melanie Pinola. And it's a couple of years old. It's not new, but it does still kind of ring true. When you look at buying a computer, what do you want? Do you want a desktop computer? Do you want a laptop computer? Do you want a tablet? What is it that you want? Now, one thing when you look at buying a desktop computer is that it's not as mobile. You don't move desktop computers around the house a lot. But if you're setting up an office, if you're going to be in one place that you use the computer mainly, a desktop is a good one to use. One of the things about a desktop computer is that you can get a bigger monitor for it. So if you're having trouble seeing things, on those little screens, 14 inches, 16 inches on your on your laptop, one thing you can look at is if you get a desktop computer, the sky's almost the limit on how big your screen can be. And they're now the thing with a lot of curved screens and different ways that you can connect up. And it gives you like a 22-inch or 30-inch screen, gives you a big display. You can even watch movies on it. You can watch television. You can do a lot of different things watching your videos, but it's on a lot bigger screen. That's what one of the benefits of having a desktop is. But as I say, it's not as mobile. You don't move a desktop from room to room when you get ready to go to another room because it's a lot of stuff to unplug, carry. It's bulky. It's not something that you want. But when you have to look at a laptop, you're usually going to be looking down at it because the screen is going to be a little bit down to you, and that can cause some neck strain as opposed to looking straight level at a desktop computer. So those are some things to take into considerations. As a desktop computer, you can buy an all-in-one where the computer is hooked onto or built right in with the screen. You've got all of it in one thing. So you plug one thing up and you're good to go. With all the wireless connections, you're just using one plug to the wall. You've got your speakers built in. You've got the desktop. You've got the monitor. So that's kind of good if you want to have a good, clean look and you're not adding a lot of peripheral stuff. You can stick flash cards in it and stuff, but usually with a all-in-one, you're not hooking up a lot of different, and you don't have to nowadays. You've got Wi-Fi connections, your HDMI, but you don't need that if you've got a built-in monitor. So you can really go pretty clean with an all-in-one. Now, it's a little harder to access things for those that may be a little more adventurous and geeky that want to add RAM or change the hard drive or do things. Going inside of all-in-ones or even laptop computers is not an easy process. It's a lot different than opening up the cabinet of a desktop computer where you can see all the parts and you can get your hands in there and you can pull them out and change it. It's not impossible. You can do it, but it is a lot easier on a desktop, especially a full-size tower desktop, than it is on most of your other devices. Most of them are made pretty compact. Things are packed in pretty tight, and they're not made for a lot of changes or upgrades to be done by the regular person. So that being said, those are some things that you want to look at. But finding the right desktop is the next thing, though. You want to know how much, all those numbers, and that goes with desktops, laptops, and even with your smartphones and your tablets. What are all the numbers? How much RAM does it have? How much, what is the CPU that you have in there? What's the size of the screen? Sometimes the refresh rate. What type of cameras are built onto some of the things that have built-in cameras? What zoom does it have? How many megapixels? What's the resolution that you can get on it? Things like that if you're going to be using it to take pictures. Even if you're just using it a little bit for that, there's differences in the ones you buy. And as you always know, price can be a big difference. As a $200 smartphone compared to a $1,000 smartphone, they're going to have a lot of differences. Better cameras, faster processors, a lot of different things different. In the same way with laptops, with desktops, with all of them. Now, you don't want to overbuy and get more than what you want, so you need to understand what is meant by RAM. What is meant by the picture resolution of so many megapixels, things like that. What about your Wi-Fi connection, USB A, USB-C connections? Those type of things are good to know about. How many connections do you have? How much stuff can you hook up to it? What is your Wi-Fi speeds? Lower priced equipment, sometimes you sacrifice different items that you don't notice at first, but they can have different chips inside them as far as the CPU, and the speed is different. And they may have a different Wi-Fi capability than, say, a more expensive one. They may not connect as fast as some others. They may have a 10 megabit limit on their speed, to where a higher price one may have a 100 megabits, or just a lot more speed. So there are differences in between the low-price computer, tablet, smartphone, wearable that you need to be aware of. Now, when I talk about wearables, one thing is, like I have here, I have a smart watch. And the smart watch, they come a lot of different ones. You can go online and find what is advertised as a smart watch for $40 or $50. And at a lot of the stores, you can find a low-price smartwatch, and then you can go some places and there's super high-price smartwatches. And there's a reason. There's different sensors in them. There's different apps that go along with them that makes a big difference. So don't just buy one right because you see it and it's cheap. And you don't have to go out and buy, say, the most expensive one. Look for one that fits your needs. Smartwatches are good. I use mine for counting my steps. It helps me with exercise to make sure that I'm doing, checking my heart rate and see if I get my heart rate high enough in my cardio part. That works good. And then how many miles did I walk today? I get a limit or a goal that I have set for how many steps I want to take and how many miles, so I can look and see how I'm doing. I say, oh, I better get up and walk a little bit. The smartwatches and your phones can also remind you that you've been sitting too long, that you need to get up and move around a little bit. There are a lot of things that you can do that help you with your health, especially as I talk to my 55 and older computer class about the benefits of having technology that can help you out and even monitor your health as you go along. People's lives have been saved by having a smartwatch that let them know that their heart was racing, or they got a fibrillation in it, or some other medical condition, your temperature. They now, the better smartwatches are even telling your oxygen level, like that little thing they put on your finger in the doctor's office. Well, your smartwatch can monitor that. It can monitor your skin temperature to see if you all of a sudden you're getting hot. You know what your normal temperature is. And you start feeling bad and you look at your watch and say, hey, my temperature is going up. Maybe I'm coming down with something. So those are all things that the technology can help you with and can help you as you look at it. So as we start, the old computer, or the first computer to work, was a desktop. You can still buy them. Best Buy, all of your regular computer places and your online stores still have them. You can find them. Windows 11 is one of the more popular, but Apple and the MacBook and their system is right up there too. So you might want a Mac. You may want a Windows computer. If you're using an iPhone and an Apple Watch, you may want to get a Mac computer because they integrate together a lot. They're all made by the same company, and you get better integration between your watch, your phone, and your computer. If you're using a Windows computer, then you might want to use the Android. If you got a smartwatch that has Android on it and you got a Windows computer and an Android phone, they integrate better with each other. And different companies make ones for different things. Apple makes their Apple Watches. The Fitbit is made mainly to work with Android. Garmin, I'm not sure what theirs work with the most, but a lot of them are going to work with the Android and the Windows other than the Apple Watch, because Apple is a pretty closed system. Not to say it won't work, but things work better on Apples that were made by Apple. And Windows and your Chromebook, they use more of the things that are made for Android when you start talking about combining your mobile stuff with a desktop or even with your laptop. And sometimes that is a pretty handy thing that you can look on your phone and see some of the same messages or emails and things that you get on your computer, or that your computer can show you when somebody's sending you a text, and you can send a text right from your computer while you're sitting at home. You don't have to pull the phone out if you have it on you. My setup is that the phone, if somebody sends me a text and I'm sitting at the computer, pops up on my screen. I can answer them right there and keep doing what I was doing. I don't have to pull the phone out and look at it. Calendars are interchangeable, so that if you say you've got a meeting and you put it on your computer, that same meeting shows up on your phone. Now, this can work with Apple and the Apple Watches and phones, or it can work with Android and Windows computers. So that's one thing to consider as you're looking at buying things. You also want to look at the speed. Do you need the fastest, newest gaming computer with super speed and showing high quality videos and stuff? Or do you need one that mainly does your business work, that lets you surf the web and does that and doesn't need all the high power of a gaming computer? That's what you want to look at. Because a gaming computer, say with high speed and an expensive graphics card in there, can start running your price up over $1,000, to where if you get just a basic computer that lets you surf the web, you're not into all of that other high-powered stuff, you can maybe get a good one for under $1,000. So those are things to take into consideration. So your desktop is still a good basic computer, but remember, it is not as mobile. You don't take it with you a lot of places and stuff, so it's set to be in one place. Now, next week, I'll talk a little bit about the laptop computers so we can see about them. But That's what you need to be doing is starting to investigate about computers before you run out and just buy something at the store and just not know what to go in and ask for or what you really want to look at. So do some research, talk to some people, talk to whoever in the neighborhood or at your church or something that's kind of into computers and stuff, and let them know what you're trying to do. Get some, let's interact with each other, and sometimes you can get some advice or little things to tell you some of the things to look for. So thank you for listening to me on that. Now, another thing that I want to go into, I didn't get a chance to do it last week and won't do much now, but I'm trying to get a video together to let you see how our young people did when they went to their first, for a lot of them, it was their first robotics competition. For 2 of our students, it was their second robotics competition. So we've got a young team, and they went out and showed their stuff. And let me see if I can pull up some of this. Let's see. We can see a little bit of our kids out there. I think I've got it here. Here we go. Okay, so there's our team, the coding stars in their light gray T-shirts. They're getting ready to send the robot out to try and do its first mission.
Come on.
This table, there the robot goes, and it's running. Yeah, it hit something and it stopped. So that's a problem. If it gets against the wall and it's not turning, then he's got to go out and get the robot back. Now, one of the bad things about that is you lose points if you touch the robot outside of the white square that you see on the end. This young man here, the youngest on our team that has the robot now. So this is his first competition. You have to move fast. He's taking a little too much time to get things moving. So time caught him. So that was one of the things. That was the last 30 seconds of that event. And, it's like a lot of pressure on you to do something and to get it done right. So we've got to work with him. He was a young guy, but he's a good programmer. So at 9 years old, that's good. 9, 10, our oldest student out there was 12 years old. Let's show him again. Yeah, we have Trey that has the robot there. He's our oldest. We have the 2 young ladies, or sisters, twin sisters, that are out there. We have this young guy here in Kingston. We have Montel. So we had 6 students that we've been working with. And they're going to come back and work with the robot. But for their diligence and hard work, with the support from the Digital Inclusion Coalition in Kansas City, we were able for their work to give them their own iPads that they can continue programming, they can learn how to program, they can continue to work with apps at home or at school with their own iPad. So each one of our robotic students was awarded an iPad that he can continue to do that type of training with and other things. So we're trying to help our kids as they move forward and give them that opportunity. That competition was rough. They scored 90 points out of 200. So they were not even at the halfway mark. So we want to improve, and they're going to improve. They were good. One thing that we noticed and our coach was proud of is that they had 3 matches, and their score increased in every match till all the way through. So they got better as it went along, as they were learning more, as they were seeing more. And that's what we pride them on. They worked together as a team. They stuck together. So the Coding Stars, our 2025 robotics competition students, we want to salute them for the work that they did out there on November the 16th at the Lego League tournament that was held at North Kansas City High School. We'll have some more pictures of them on our Facebook page, so be sure and go to BFTAA, or Black Family Technology Awareness Association, on Facebook, and check out our kids and see the fun that they were having and the joy on their faces. And I tell you, when they got these new iPads, you would have thought it was Christmas morning and stuff. The kids were so excited, and it just made me feel good to see the look on their face as they were each presented with a brand new iPad. So that's it for today. That's the BFTAA and More show. I am your host, Louis George Walker, and I will be back again next Monday with the BFTAA and More show. So you have yourself a great Thanksgiving. Thank you for joining, and we will see you later.